All right, you guys, welcome on back into the Real with Joseph Latman. I am Joseph Latman. Browns post-game reaction Sunday Night Live edition as we react to the Browns 24-20 loss, gut-wrenching loss, tough loss today. I thought the Browns gave this game away to the Seahawks. We're going to get into it as the Browns fall short. If you're new here, like, subscribe, and share for me. If you're someone who's been watching me and you're already subscribed, hit that like button for me. Everybody hit the like button for me on the way in here. Really helps me fight the algorithms. I really appreciate that. And also, if you're not subscribed, subscribe to my channel. I got a lot of great content on here with obviously sports, covering the Browns, covering Cleveland sports, sports all across the board, mainly basketball and football. And I also break down mental health here as well, about my battle and journey with anxiety, overcoming anxiety for the last 8 years, and also my relationship with the Lord as well. So please, if you're new here, subscribe to this channel. I'd really appreciate that. Hit the like button for me. A lot of content going out over here. And we also have other testimonies as well from other people as well, which I'll be doing more of in the future. So stay tuned for that. But we're here tonight to react to the Browns' loss to the Seahawks. Like I said, tough loss today. What really stood out to me the most before I get my guest up here is two things that stood out to me. Three things, rather. I think the defense has gotten a little exposed the last couple weeks, or they've just kind of let their foot off the gas. I think they got a little after that 49ers game, everybody was saying they're the best defense in the league, and everybody's, propping them up, and rightfully so. And I still think they're a really good defense. Still think they're one of the top five in the league, maybe top three at least, definitely. But I do think the last couple weeks they've kind of, been a little passive at times, missed tackles, missed assignments, not really paying attention. I think maybe they need to kind of reset a little bit, kind of refocus. I think that's kind of something that stood out to me, which I expect Jim Schwartz to do. I expect Jim Schwartz to be really on their rear ends this week in practice and the film sessions, especially, a nice tune-up game at home, bouncing back next week against the Cardinals, one of the worst teams in the league. So it's setting up nicely for next week's game back at home against a lesser team. And the second thing that stood out to me was I thought Kevin Stefanski actually called a really good game. And a lot of people are giving him crap after the game. Here's where I'll still give Stefanski somewhat of a criticism for today's game. Situationally, he still needs to get a little better. And I think the last drive there where they had the ball in hand, about 3 minutes left, you're milking the clock, you're up by 3. You really should win the game at this point. And there was the 3rd and 3, and he decided they called a timeout right for the 2-minute warning. And they come out and they put the ball in P.J. Walker's hand, and P.J. Walker throws the ball, and he threw it way too straight. I mean, he's only 5'10", but and he's a journeyman guy, practice squad quarterback. But I'm not picking on PJ's actually been pretty impressive just for who he is and stepping in the situation. I'm actually salute to the guy for how hard he competes, and he really is giving his all. You actually feel bad for him after the game sitting on the bench like that, because he doesn't get many opportunities like this. I think he's actually done pretty well, but he is who he is. So in that situation, I think in the 3rd and 3, I think the ball was on like the 40-yard line, or no, 30. He throws it off Jamal Adams' helmet, and the ball goes flying in the air, and the Seahawks get it. To me, in that situation on the 3rd and 3, I don't want the ball in P.J. Walker's hands and deciding the game. I would have rather brought in that power package. They were cooking them all day in that second half, running the ball, especially on 3rd and down, 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5, 3rd and 3, 2nd and 3. They were 5 yards in. They were really moving that ball, running the ball. I would have brought in the bigger package with Nick Harris, James Hudson, and Kareem Hunt. And I'm putting the ball in Kareem Hunt's hand in that situation. I'm letting him take it. And if we get the first down, we probably win the game. If he's short, it's okay. We could still punt the ball and pin them down probably at the 15, 10-yard line maybe. People Horkins is a pretty good punter. And I like our defense's chances there. You're making now Seattle has to go, 80, 70 yards to try to tie the game at least, or to score, but also about 50 yards to get in field goal range. But he went the opposite way, threw the ball at P.J. Walker, and the worst case scenario happened. And you kind of had the feeling when Seattle came out there, completed the first couple of passes, you're like, okay, they're at least going to get a field goal out of this. And not only that, they got more than that. They ended up scoring, winning the game, scoring a touchdown to win the game, and all the momentum was gone. And that decision there, to me, is what really stood out. But the third thing that really stood out to me today, though, was I do like that he committed to the run more, and I like the play calling a lot more. I think he was more of a conscious effort getting Amari Cooper the ball. And also with my third point, with the trade deadline coming on Tuesday, they still got to get another receiver up in here. Donovan Peoples-Jones, again, another no-show today. You see here, let me scroll down to Peoples-Jones. Donovan Peoples-Jones, once again, nothing. He gave you nothing. Well, he wasn't even targeted in this game. That's how bad it's been. So they got to get another receiver opposite of Amari. I think Elijah Moore is starting to find a better role, which I like. I think he should have had a touchdown today. Oh, that was my other point. I think the play that actually cost them the game was, and it's crazy because Amari Cooper is the best receiver, and Amari had a pretty good game. I don't know if you guys noticed this, and I'm going to ask my guests this tonight. When I was watching this game today, I was watching my dad. I didn't really say much. I was kind of trying to observe everything. And in the third quarter, when they had the ball, I think it was down on the 10-yard line, and it was 17-17, right? And was it 17-17? Yeah, I think it was. And so it's about 3rd and 2. They come out, and they had Amari Cooper on the right side, and Elijah Moore was in the slot, and you could see the crossing route coming, which I've been screaming more crossing routes, and it was set up perfectly. But before they ran out of that huddle, Amari Cooper told PJ Walker, "Find me, just look at me," because they were trying all year long. PJ, he gets locked in on one guy, and the Maris were getting a lot of those PI calls on one-on-ones. But in this situation, that's not in that scenario in that part of the field when you're rolling like that. You got all the momentum. I'm not sure if I'm looking for a PI call on a 3rd and short. And Elijah Moore, if he would have just turned his head and actually went through the reads, Elijah Moore had a walk-in touchdown on the crossing on the crossing route. And I think if they score there and they go up by a touchdown, not only did they possibly go to overtime no matter what happens later on, but they probably win the game because they really would have sucked the air out of that stadium, especially after coming off an interception. But they settled for a field goal there. And so to me, I thought that was the play that gave Seattle the chance to win the game because I felt, and I think, excuse me, I think Amari Cooper probably wishes he didn't tell PJ to find him like that because when you tell a guy like PJ, who's a practice squad guy, and you're Amari Cooper, he's going to do whatever you tell him. And Amari and PJ hiked the ball. And he didn't even look twice. He just lobbed it up to Amari. Amari wasn't even open. He just airmailed it like way past him. And PJ said after, it's my fault. It's my fault. But I thought that was the play because if you throw there to Elijah, you probably score. He definitely scores, and you probably win the game. So that's the 3 things that stood out to me. Yeah. So let me know. You guys think? Leave a comment below. We'll put it on the screen. Joining me now, Schnooks, the new guest, Josh.
Yeah. What's going on?
What's going on?
Special guest.
Say that again.
Hold on, I think we got an echo.
You got an echo?
Yeah, I think it's echoing.
Is it me?
Yeah.
Hold on.
But maybe try coming out and coming back in. We'll try that. But no, that's your phone, Dad.
It is?
Yeah. Never mind, Josh.
Well, let me hop out and come back
in. Yeah. Figures it's his phone.
Right.
Yeah. I was about to say what. But no, thanks for tuning in. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself? I mean, if you wouldn't mind. And
yeah.
Josh is a former wrestler at the Slaw.
At the Slaw.
Shout out to Tuslaw. I played against them in high school. Well, go ahead and introduce yourself, man.
Yeah. I'm Josh. I've known Joe and Joseph for a minute. I work with Joe. Big time wrestler from the Slaw, and yeah.
Wow.
From the Slaw.
Assume we're here to talk about a horrible call on a 3rd down.
Yeah, and Josh's brother also your brother was a former pro UFC or MMA fighter as well. So
yep,
pretty
Damon.
interesting fact there. Shout out to Damon. We're gonna do some UFC stuff down there, but we're here tonight for the Browns. I guess we'll just go to you first, Josh, and Dad, you can go after. What would your guys' take on this game and the third down call there?
Well, I feel like we played a great game, and we just had a bad call that turned the game around. I will say, though, a lot of things that I noticed was they didn't call a lot of things that last quarter. There was a couple of blatant holdings, Myles Garrett getting face masked, trying to run through the line, just no calls for. But other than that, I mean, they played a great game. I wish they would have just gave Kareem Hunt the ball on 3rd and 3, ran the clock a little more, but is what it is.
Yeah, I think too the holding too on Metcalf on that last play to win. He clearly held. He even knew it too. He turned to the ref and was like, "Please don't call it." And they didn't call it, but
Yeah, that was holding.
But I mean, we shouldn't have been in that predicament to begin with.
Right. I mean, here we played a great game. I mean, we were down 14-0 first quarter. We played a great game. You can't really level it down to one or two things at the end, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I thought the way they responded down 14-0, the Browns in the past would have just quit right there, and we all would have had this done probably 2 hours ago, this post game. So, but
right.
Dad, what was your take on the game and the third down call?
Well, I don't know. I mean, it could have went either way, but that, like you said, that power package was working really well. They could have come out. I'm sure they had a different look they could have came out with. I mean, because they really ran the ball really well. At the same time, you just don't. PJ Walker's just not that cat. You put in action to make that pass. So, you had that issue. You had that the crossing route. They had an opportunity there. They missed there. Pick 6. It was dropped late in the game. That was an opportunity to win the game. So they had opportunities. I mean, overall, that played well. I thought Stefanski called a great game. I think Stefanski's done a great job. This young guy, these last 3 games, but they down 14-0 and come back and then really control the game for 2.5 more quarters. Looking like they're going to win the game. And, just those turnovers. Can't say enough about turnovers. You know what I mean? Turnovers always kill. So, but overall, we all thought they were going to not win that game. And I'm sitting there watching, son of a bitch, they're going to win this game. You know what I mean?
I thought they were too.
But like you said, yeah. I mean, if you look at the 3rd and short, constantly through the grain, through the running the ball on 2nd down. Last week we were sitting there talking about they always pass on 2nd down. They ran a lot on 2nd down, and they put them in good third down situations. So, like you said, it's good to see them commit to the run the way they did. It's amazing what happens when you do that. But here, it is what it is, and time to move on. So hopefully Watson gets back.
Yeah, I hope so too, because I think if they would have had a healthy Watson, he probably hits Elijah on that crosser there. So,
when we're watching that game late in the 4th quarter, I'm like, this is where you need a quarterback. You know what I mean? This is where you can't have a practice squad guy on the road trying to hang on to a win late in the 4th quarter. The odds were against us. So, but hey, you know what? Last year, years before that, that game would turn into a blowout. So they're growing. They're trending in the right direction, and they're getting better.
What's your guys' overall take on this defense? I think the last couple of weeks they haven't looked as strong. They give a lot of big plays, and they've kind of missed assignments, missed tackles. I guess, what are you guys' overall assessment of this defense now since the 49ers game?
Here, I still think the defense is strong. I think it's probably still the best in the league. We're not learning or we're forgetting, I should say, on how to wrap up and tackle people. We're just giving up huge plays. I mean, pound for pound, we're winning the battle every time, but those 1, 2, 3 huge plays just gives it up. Myles Garrett was kind of quiet today. I mean, he didn't do anything till the 4th quarter, but
I don't know. Yeah, a lot of missed tackles, and I thought that the Seahawks did a nice job blocking Myles early on in the game. And I think at the end of the game, when you needed him most, he stepped up and made the play still, but just wasn't enough. But yeah, I think the Greg Newsome injury was really hurt us at the end because he was playing really well. And he probably makes that interception there. I mean, Cam Mitchell's a rookie. It's hard for him in that spot. It's his first opportunity, really. So I thought that really hurt us too, that injury. Dad, what do you think of the defense right now?
I get a little bit of too much of a chip on their shoulder, like you were saying. I mean, still got potential. I'm with Josh. They're probably still the best defense and can be better, but like here, that's when you're starting to when you're missing tackles, you're missing the fundamentals. That's when you're not focused. You know what I mean? They're letting their foot off the gas.
Yeah.
Get a little cocky. So maybe this put them in check that they lost. They gave up that win, and because that was a win, and the defense gave it up. So and those were gashes. They got gashed on that last drive. I mean, gashed. Yeah. It was terrible. Now that DK Metcalf was holding. Because that same play, they called holding against us earlier in the game on one of our O-linemen. But still, though, they were getting gashed, and they didn't hold on. So, if the defense is to blame, they lost the game. So they should have been able to – they gave it up. They were for 2.5 quarters, they were playing well, and then they gave it up in the fourth quarter. So maybe it's a good thing they lost.
Yeah, too, especially the first quarter. It was not a good quarter at all. I mean, they were doing whatever they wanted, Seattle. And you saw Geno Smith was doing later on in the game. I mean, he's average. He's not – I think he's a solid starting quarterback, but he's not the greatest. He's made a lot of bad decisions at times. But it's like, what were we doing in that first quarter? We were just out there sleepwalking. It bit us in the ass, gave up 17 points. Like
I feel like, too, our D-line is so good, and we just couldn't get through there. I mean, they had a tight end literally coming out of the huddle and just lining up where Myles Garrett was every time. So he'd be double teamed, triple teamed every time. And it made a difference.
Yeah. You can't be surprised. That's what Pete Carroll does. It's like Pete Carroll's going to be prepared for Myles Garrett.
Right.
And that, you know what I mean? So they did what they had to do to take him out of the game, most of the game. And you got to tip your hat to them. The offensive line did a great job. They had good play. They had a good game plan, and they executed well, and they got the better of us.
Yeah, it's like the commentator said in the middle of the game too. When you saw how he played last week in that Monsters game, it's like, well, obviously you're going to pay more attention to him this week. But yeah, I agree. I agree with Roscoe. They didn't really do much. I mean, I thought they did okay in certain times in the middle of the game. They were pressuring him a lot, making him force the ball out, but. Yeah, I think the linebacking core and the back seven. I think the back seven as a whole, when it comes to tackling and the run game, has not been good the last 3 games. So that's got to clean up immedially.
Right.
Owensby is
yeah.
Browns are terrible.
The Bengals finally won a game, so Owensby's talking shit.
Yeah, we're not worried about them. The Kentucky Bengals.
Why don't you come on, Owensby? Who cares what you look like, dude? Come on.
Yeah.
Put a filter over you.
You look like PJ Walker is like most customers shopping for cars today, not qualified. Yeah, pretty much.
I like PJ Walker. Here, I know he's not a starter quarterback in the NFL, but I mean, here, the dude goes out there and he makes some bad decisions.
You know what? To put him in this spot like this and how he's performed, I give him a lot of credit. I think he's played a lot better than I thought he did in this spot. I mean, he's pretty tough. Yeah. I mean, he was running at linebackers today, full speed.
Yeah, here
taking him head on.
Not even sliding. Yeah,
he's gotten better each week. It's like Moose Johnson said when he gets to take the reps all week. But here, I mean, the dude's done okay, man. So.
Dude's always smiling.
I mean,
that's what I like
he's
about
a practice squad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's a practice squad guy. I mean, what do you want? You know what I mean? It's not much you could do with them. I mean, they're in a tough spot. But looking ahead, though, we got the Cardinals coming up. I mean, do you guys feel pretty good about that, if Deshaun plays or not? I mean, I think PJ can definitely win that game.
Oh, yeah. Home game? Definitely. That makes a big difference, I feel like.
Yeah, I think defense is going to come out fired up after giving up that game. You know what I mean? So, and they'll be talked about all week for that shit, so they'll come out fired up, and that'll be tough for the Cardinals. Come in, weather's gonna be trash next Sunday, so be tough for the Cardinals to come into Cleveland and pull that off.
No, I agree. Especially if the weather's gonna be crappy too. You got the little Arizona boys coming out here.
Yeah,
Probably not gonna go well for them. They don't like the cold, but and if it's raining too, raining cold in Cleveland is just not a good time to be outside. But especially for 4 hours. But
Right.
I do want to ask you guys though, a guy that I think I like they're using more of is Pierre Strong. I'm curious what you guys think of Pierre. I think they need to use him more. I actually like it a little more than Jerome right now. He just seems to have a hotter hand.
I agree. He's fast, man. That dude can hit the jets. He hit that hole.
Yeah.
I don't know what drive it was, what quarter it was, but he hit a hole and then he just instantly had 10 yards in the first down. Like he's got jets, dude.
yeah, he's more elusive. You know what I mean? Than Jerome Ford. I mean, Jerome Ford's got some speed, but he's certainly more elusive. Finds those little creases in the line, and so you're the second in the league in rushing. Who would ever thought that?
He said he's thrown 1 touchdown, 5 picks, has a quarterback rate of 22.8. No smile makes up for that. Yeah, I agree. Here, we're not saying he's the greatest at all, but I don't think he's
third
for
string.
who he is. He's done well. I mean, they've had a chance. They won 2 of the games, and they really should have won today if they would have just ran the ball there at the end. So he's done enough to win. That's all you can ask from him. Oh, Dan, I sent you the link too.
Yeah, the Cat's 2-1.
Yeah, he's 2-1. I'll take it. I mean, it's better than what we had in the past.
Right.
So,
Right.
I do think that I want to ask you guys in terms of Stefanski. The thing that stood out to me. We'll start with the good today because there was a lot of good. I like the creativity in the play calling. The tempo at times. We had a little tempo going. I like that he got Njoku more involved. I think when you get Njoku going, that offense really takes off, and you really see what he could be. If they've just given the ball more, he's been pretty efficient this year on his targets too. I think I got the stats here. Today, Njoku, 4 receptions, 77 yards out of 8 targets and 1 touchdown. Had the 41-yard one where he took it all the way to the house. Or no, that was in the 4th quarter. He took it all the way to midfield. What was your guys' overall take from Stefanski today, and what you liked as a whole in the play calling?
I like that they were getting him the ball. I mean, how many times has he been passed the ball this year? He can catch him. He can run. He's always out there in midfield. And, I mean, they're looking for Amari Cooper first, obviously. But Njoku's great. We pay him a lot of money because he's good.
Yeah, I think his athleticism, you don't need to be a top 5 tight end. You don't need to be that. But when you actually utilize him properly, and Dad, I think you noticed this too. Notice how Elijah Moore had a better game today because of David got going. It just opened up everything else in the field. Got Amari more easier targets. Got Elijah going. It just opened up the entire offense.
That's what happens when you hit all your targets. When you involve every player, especially a tight end. Especially a guy like Njoku, who's just so athletic and his yards after catch, and that stresses the defense. So, and then he did a great job. And Stefanski did a good job getting him, running plays to him and building him into the game plan. And so it puts a lot of stress on that defense. He's hard to handle. So and then opens up for everyone else. It's amazing what happens when you use all your weapons, and especially tight end.
Yeah, I agree. Couple more here on this game in particular, and we'll move on to the trade deadline. I do want to react to the one play though from Maurice Hurst getting the interception. Not often you see a defensive lineman make a play like that where he tipped it to himself and then turned around and caught it over his head. I know you guys probably thought that was crazy too. I thought that was a wild play there. In the words of Corey Mihalik, that was wild.
Wild.
Real wild.
Wild.
What did you think?
I know he's watching.
I don't know what Corey's
doing. Get your ass on here.
All right, did the Falcons even win today, Corey? Do you guys know if the Falcons won or not?
No, they lost.
They lost.
Of course they did. Man. Yeah, I need to see. Yeah, Corey, get your ass up here. But what did you guys think of that play, though? I thought that was kind of funny. Not a play you see very often, a D lineman getting the pick.
I did that once in youth football, and I literally thought I was the greatest thing ever. The same thing. But here, That's awesome. You know, that dude loved that, and he will remember that for a long, long time because you never see that happen. Uh, the replay though showed it may have hit the ground, but they kept it rolling. So
I'll just give it to him off
that
an
was
effort.
awesome.
You can have it. Just,
Oh yeah,
just off effort. Dad, I know you loved it. You were laughing, especially you like this big man celebrating too,
Oh yeah, I love the big man. So
rubbing his
uh,
belly. Yeah,
yeah, but hey, the play worked. It was the scheme worked. It did what it was supposed to do. He dropped back,
yeah.
filled that passing lane, tipped the ball,
hmm
and got the pick. So I felt like at first I thought he may not have had possession, but on the replay, look, he had possession. He had possession all the way down, enough possession. So yeah, that was a hell of a play. I love seeing that. Love seeing the big dudes.
Me and Austin were watching that. We're like, did that dude just drop back into coverage?
Right.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. That's
Yeah.
great. It's a great scheme. Where's
Oh
Austin
yeah.
at? Send him the link.
I don't know.
Austin, if you're watching, get your ass on here, dude. No more deals on
he,
trucks.
he said he was going to, so I
You
don't
got
know.
a short-term lease, dude. Your lease is coming up.
I do want to ask you guys, what was your overall take on the offensive line today? Because that was a pretty good front seven they won against. How do you think they've held up for PJ?
I feel like he took a lot of hits in the backfield. I mean, he would get the
Yeah.
ball out, but he took some hits, man.
Yeah, he did.
I would say, considering who they were playing, I give them a C.
That's what I thought. Yeah, I was gonna say a C
Yeah,
too.
that's fair.
I thought Jed Wills didn't have his better game today. He went back to the other Jed Wills. Gave up like that the fumble play, that was his block he missed. And then the crappy penalties too. Didn't like
Yeah.
that, but yeah, I agree. But
anytime we see a penalty, that's immediately who we think it is.
yeah, it's
Like,
yeah, Dad, what I
Right.
say to you when they threw the flag, what I say to you. They said there were 71. I said, oh, that's who I expect it to be. Jed Wills. Right on
Yep.
cue. In the worst part of the game. He's just sitting there like, what? Looking around like, yeah, penalty was on
God.
you. But yeah.
We got to live the rest of the season with him.
Yep.
Yeah, he's
Gotta
been
deal
better
with
the
it.
last 2 weeks, but it's like, can you just be consistent? That can you not show up and be shit Jed Wills at times? Could you not do that?
Right.
I don't think that's ever possible.
Yeah, I don't know either. But transitioning though, kind of off of today. When you guys saw the receiving core today, Amari obviously was Amari, consistent veteran guy. I thought Elijah's starting to get a little better. I like how they're utilizing more in the screen routes and the crossing routes, stuff like that. Now, obviously, Don Peoples-Jones, he's done. He ain't giving you much. It probably, I think, should have been his last game today as a Cleveland Brown. So looking ahead now to the trade deadline, what you've seen from the receiving room, I think the receiver has to be the number one priority here at the deadline. If Dan comes on too, Dan and I have a guy in common. We were thinking about Hunter Renfrow. What do you guys think leading to the deadline? Maybe something besides receiver, but I think receiver is probably the number one option here they got to go after.
Yeah, I would agree. I'm. It's a good way to put this. I just started getting into the Browns like 2 or 3 years ago, so I never was really into watching sports. And after watching them this year, I'm like, this is a great team. So I don't think we need much. I would say, if anything, maybe a little depth there. But other than that, I think that's probably all they need.
I agree. They need a guy like Hunter Renfrow for those crossing routes. You know what I mean? All that short yardage.
Or the
And a
third
guy-
down guy.
Yeah, and can create yards after the catch. That's a perfect dude. You know what I mean? So that'd be cool as hell. Plus, he has chemistry with Deshaun, so that'd be great if they pulled that off.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they got to go out and try to get Hunter Renfrow. I think a bigger name would be a home run move. I don't know. It's just theoretically. Devontae Adams. I don't know how realistic that really is. Probably not realistic at all. But I think in terms of other guys, I think Renfro is probably the best option they can get right now. I don't think the Tennessee's trading D-Hop. I don't know. Mike should be coming up here soon. He reads all the reports every day, Mike. So I don't know where they are with D-Hop today. He had a monster game today, so they probably are going to end up keeping him for the rest of the year. Although I think it'd be a good time to trade him because he's on a 1-year deal. But I would definitely try to get him. I'm out on Jerry Jeudy. I can't do it. He's barking with Steve Smith. He's got a bad attitude problem. Sounds kind of like a cancer in the locker room. I would pass on that. What's the last thing we need? But I would say probably Renfro, D Hop, and I don't know. You guys got any other names you can think of out there?
I couldn't even tell you another name, to be honest
No,
with you.
no.
Boyd.
Oh no! Don't bring that up.
You never know. I mean, I've heard some rumors about Devontae Adams. I mean, who the hell knows, man?
Yeah, I've heard that one. I don't know if he's available though. I don't know. I didn't sound like he wants to be there. I mean, I wouldn't want to play for McDaniels either, but
Yeah.
I don't know. But looking ahead there in the division, I think we're tied for second, or no? I think we're second now. We have the advantage over the Bengals because we beat them. Pittsburgh lost today, so pulling up the standings here. Let me find it. Okay, we're actually third. No, Pittsburgh's 4-3. Excuse me. So Baltimore is first, Pittsburgh second, and it's actually Pittsburgh, Cleveland, and Cincinnati are all 4-3 now. So it's getting real tight in the division.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna pull up the schedule here. I'm gonna go to the other screen. What do you guys think down the stretch? Some games maybe stand out to you if you can think off the top of your head. I'm gonna pull up the schedule here. Some games they got. Obviously, they got to win next week. Let me see here. Browns schedule. Okay. So all right. So next week, obviously, we get Arizona at home. Then we go on the road to Baltimore. Then back home versus Pittsburgh. Then it's back-to-back road games on the road at Denver, on the road at the Rams. Then back home for back-to-back games with Jacksonville and the Bears. Then it's on the road again to Houston. And then back home for New York and on the road for Cincinnati. So looking at the schedule here, I don't know what games stand out to you guys. I think obviously the Arizona game you have to win. I think you have to win that Pittsburgh game at home. I think you got to win one of those road games as well, Denver or the Rams. You should beat the Bears. You should beat the Texans. And I would say you probably should beat the Jets at home. What really stands out here to you guys?
Easy schedule other than the Baltimore game.
Yeah. Although Jacksonville's looking good.
Yeah,
I'll say.
Jacksonville.
But other than that, yeah, I mean, here, you got to beat Pittsburgh. The Baltimore game's going to be tough. The Bengals game will be tough also. But yeah, got to win those division games.
All right. Yeah, I think those are the games. Obviously, you want to split with Baltimore, but Baltimore's playing so well. And I don't know who our quarterback's going to be by then. I mean, I could see us losing that game, but I think you have to win next week, obviously.
Right.
And you should beat Pittsburgh at home, such how bad their offense is. I would say you probably should beat Denver. I could see you losing in LA because guys might be going out when they're out there. So you can lose that game. Jacksonville's tough, but I think Chicago and Arizona to me is the two ones you have to win in Houston.
Yeah.
But
Jacksonville, I mean, you got to hear it. That's in Cleveland in December.
Right.
So,
yeah, that's an advantage for us.
Right. So,
yeah, I don't know. A lot of people have made a lot of fuss though about should they trade for a quarterback Tuesday? Should they go out and try to get Brissett? Should they bring him back? I don't know what you guys think about that. You think they should try to get another quarterback or just keep rolling with PJ? Or
I like PJ, man. I was texting you this the other day through Instagram. I like PJ.
Yeah.
He's consistent enough. I know he's not great, but everyone's gonna have turnovers.
I mean, if they
at least move the ball.
They obviously they got a better idea than anybody about Watson. But if there's, let's just say in a hypothetical situation, Watson potentially could be out another 4 games. I say you get a quarterback. This guy's a practice squad guy. I mean, practice squad guy didn't play out this game. This is where you got to have a quarterback late in the fourth quarter. So, I say you get another quarterback, somebody that's actually, that's been on a roster and is not a practice squad guy. So
Who would be your number one target, Brissett?
Brissett, absolutely Brissett. I mean, because he knows the system. He's familiar with all the guys. Absolutely Brissett, and he's just like Dan said, he's just sitting there. Go score the dude.
I'm gonna throw out some other names too that are realistically available. Carson Wentz.
I'd still rather have Brissett.
Well, I'm saying if you had to pick between Wentz or PJ, so Brissett or PJ, Brissett, obviously. Wentz or PJ?
I'm taking Wentz.
What about
I like
you, Josh?
PJ.
PJ.
I like PJ, dude. It's me and Austin fight about it all the time. I'm like, I would love to see PJ just take us to the playoffs. I mean, he's the XFL MVP, man. I mean, he's out there having a good time. He can move the ball. He makes mistakes, but I mean, you just need someone in there moving the ball. Defense will be the defense.
Another name, I'm not really high on this, but I heard some people bring it up, like my man Garrett Bush. Nick Foles, or is he just old and, you know?
Yeah.
I'm kind of out on that.
How long's that guy?
I'm just saying. This is who's on the street. It's not really a good market for quarterbacks. That's really, you know, the only guys you could sign is really Wentz and Foles. I don't really like either. Yeah, I agree. Only Brissett, but Gergs is in the house.
Hell yeah. What's up, Chris?
What's going on?
Chris, thanks for tuning in as usual, or joining as usual. We're talking about the Browns. You check out the Browns game today?
Yeah, off and on.
Did the Lions play today, or are they on a bye?
No, they play tomorrow night.
Who they got tomorrow night?
Vegas Raiders.
Oh, okay. At home?
Schedule.
Yep.
Yeah, they should win that easy then. But yeah, would you we were kind of bitching about the 3rd-3 call there, throwing the ball. You thought they should have ran it with Kareem. I don't know, maybe you thought on the game from what you saw there.
Well, yeah, I mean, definitely run the ball and then punt it. Don't put it in a, you know, like Dan said earlier, he has 1 touchdown and 6 interceptions. Why put the ball in his hands? But here, I mean, when you start off down 14 in the road that quick and you turn the ball over, to even be in the position to win the game was impressive. But PJ Walker ain't it. I know he smiles, but
he's having fun, man.
He's having a good time.
No,
that's all that matters. As long as he's having a good time, that's all that matters.
Good for him. I mean,
yeah.
You know, but then again, I don't. I mean, I know Dan and you guys say Brissett, but I don't really know what that does for you either. You know, I mean, I get it. He knows the playbook well and all that stuff, but I don't necessarily. Yeah, he's an upgrade from PJ Walker, but that doesn't really get. I don't think he wins you a playoff game either.
Well,
I think they're. Well, go ahead, Dad.
Well, that's it. I'm not looking at that. I'm just saying if we needed a stopgap guy for another 4 games. I mean, let's just say hypothetically, Watson. They got a feeling Watson's going to be out for another 4 games. I say you get a quarterback. I don't think you ride PJ Walker.
Well, yeah,
you know what I mean. I'm not saying he's your. I'm not saying. I mean, I'm not saying Brissett's your long-term guy into the playoffs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm just saying if you need a stopgap guy, then yeah, you make that move.
Yeah, that's what I think too. Because I think if you had Brissett in there today, you probably win that. There's a higher chance you win that game. Because he's not going to force the ball to Amari there in that one play. You would have hit Elijah in the crosser. Because I think he's a little more experienced, obviously, just a better quarterback. And he's taller too. I think Brissett's like 6'4". Like a PJ's only like 5'10". You could see it at times his size really. He can't scan the field properly. Or the Jamal Adams, or when he threw the ball off Jamal Adams' helmet, it's just his size. He's too small to play professional quarterback. But
just goes back to the he shouldn't have been throwing the ball there.
Right, exactly. I agree. I would have put the power package in and put it in Kareem's hand, and whatever happens, happens. I think it probably good chance he converts it there. We probably win the game. But even if you don't, you punt him back, you pin him down at probably the 10. But Borges is had a pretty good game punting. So, yeah, I agree. I don't understand that there because Stefanski called a pretty good game. I thought it was one of his better games he's called all year. Like the drives they were putting together. Like, Dad, remember that drive when they needed a touchdown down 14-0? They went right down the field and scored. I was like,
Yeah.
best drive I've seen all year.
We didn't
Yeah.
call 5 jet sweeps either. So
No, we didn't run the jet sweeps and all that stupid shit. We just went right. It was downhill, screen pass, and they kept going to what worked. And
Yeah.
then at the end of the game, in the situational moments when you need him the most, he just sometimes he calls weird stuff and it bites him in the ass.
I notice he does that a lot. Like it'd be 3rd and 1, and he'll pass the ball with PJ. Like here, I like PJ, but PJ's not the guy. You know, he's not a Deshaun or some high-end quarterback. It's just run the ball. Just Kareem will get you 2 yards if you just give it to him.
And if he doesn't, just rely on the defense. Don't give him a short field. I mean, yeah, they got carved up, but here you gave him a shorter field because you decided to throw the ball. I mean,
yeah, and they got a lot of momentum off the interception too.
Yeah, I mean,
that crowd
work
was
your
rocking.
strengths.
Yeah, but again, I mean, they battled back. I don't think necessarily the Browns are a team that are good at they're built to come from behind, but I actually did. That was what impressed me. You think 14-0 on the road with PJ Walker?
You think it's done?
Yeah, I mean, because they don't really have the team to come back, built to come back. But
no, they have the defense that can do it. But like you're right, offensively, you're kind of like, I don't know, because I was surprised too. Because when it was 14-0, I was sitting there looking at him, and I was just like, this is kind of what I thought could happen. You're on the road, cross country, you're about to get just waxed. But that drive was impressive to respond, and they hung in there and kept going. Dan says next week will be the first week ever that Josh Dobbs starts a game and is the best quarterback on the field. Yeah, it's great. We had Josh Dobbs too. I wonder how the front office feels about that. But yeah, I don't know.
But I feel pretty bad if Arizona pulls off the upset. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. I'd rather have Dobbs right now in here anyways. But I do want to ask you guys, though, after today's game, where does Kevin Stefanski's job status stand for you guys?
I think he's safe as long as he makes the playoffs. Yeah,
I agree with that.
I think he's done a good job with this practice squad quarterback.
Well, let me ask you like this: since we had our State of the Union at the bye, a lot of us said a lot of us thought he was going to be fired by now. So, since then, where do you have it now? Like a scale 1 to 10 out, what's the probability he keeps his job?
I think he's safe now. I was wrong. I think he gets to keep his job as long as he makes playoffs.
I think it's 6.5. I for some reason I feel like him and Deshaun don't see eye to eye, and I feel like they favor Deshaun more than Stefanski.
Well, he's definitely going to outlast because of that contract.
Yeah, the money.
But I feel like that's I just have a hunch that that's what it is.
Well, and I forgot about that because now it'd be interesting to see. Let's just say Watson comes back next week. How's that offense operate with Stefanski calling plays and then Watson taking the snaps? You know what I mean? If it's a cluster and the offense isn't putting together drives, then that's when you got what Josh said. Then coach. Then you got to look at getting rid of the coach. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Does his system work with Watson? I mean, yeah, he's got this practice squad guy in there. He's going to do what he's told. Oh, what a terrible snap! My gosh. So
I'm not a Deshaun fan. I don't believe in Deshaun yet. Like I said, I just started getting into football a couple years ago. I don't know what he's about. I know he was great once upon a time, but I've seen nothing that impressed me other than a couple drives personally. I want him to be the guy, but I just haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, if you're a guy, go ahead, Chris.
One thing, when looking at that schedule, it was reported that if the Jets, with 2 weeks remaining, Rodgers will come back if they're in playoff contention, and that's the target date is Cleveland. That Cleveland.
Yeah, because he was throwing the ball today.
Yeah. So just in Cleveland fashion, just in the Browns way, they get Aaron Rodgers' game back. But with that being said, I haven't wavered on Kevin Stefanski. I think he needs to get fired. He just ain't it. He's just not.
Someone else just seems to call the plays, if anything.
It's like, do you think he can keep up what he did today next week? Would you expect that next week?
Well, he lost today, so hopefully not.
Well, I get what you're saying, but I thought today, though, overall was his most. Yeah, besides the 3rd and 3, I think he probably will take that back too. But I thought today overall was his best game he's called all year because he kept him in it. Like Chris said, you didn't expect them to come back from behind like that. A lot of it was due to the play calling, putting guys in the right position. So it's like I want him to keep that going forward because it kind of becomes your identity. You expect that every week. We don't expect that every week because it's never consistent, and that's the problem.
They got to get help on the offensive side of the ball, they're in serious danger the schedule looks easy, but they're in some major danger to being last place in this division for sure. Cincy, I know you guys say that they're built like a high school team, but they just went into San Fran and pumped them. And Burrow looks healthy, and I'd watch out for Cincy. Cincy is a man.
Well, yeah, regardless of what I think about the rest of the team, I'll never doubt Joe Burrow. I think Joe Burrow is arguably the best quarterback of football when he's healthy and going, but he's that good. But yeah, I agree. I think they got to get, and not only that too. When Deshaun comes back, you got to help this guy out a little bit. You can't. I don't like all the people saying you expect this guy to come off the street and you expect to come off the shoulder injury to come out there and be hero ball. I get what you gave up to get him and everything, but you knew what you were getting. The situation when you acquired him, you hadn't played in 2 years, so you got to at least it's your job as the organization and a coach to ease a guy back in. It's like if a guy, came back into your guys' business for a while, or as a player, if you came, just imagine that you got to get back in the rhythm, get back into, the rhythm and tune every day to day work and game to game. He hasn't been able to do that yet. And I don't think throwing the ball to Don Peoples-Jones and, the play calling at times, it's just that's not an ideal personnel around him to help him get acclimated back into where he needs to be.
Well, he had finally found his rhythm in that Tennessee game, but then hurts his shoulder. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So the dude just really hasn't been able to
look at the receiving core. It's still not.
Better.
You can do better than Don Peoples-Jones.
Well, yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. What the hell's a quarterback do? He throws the ball to people.
Renfro
it's like
Renfro would be huge,
right?
He would be huge in that system with Deshaun. They're familiar. He's a third down guy. He'd be huge. I have no idea why they're not using him in Vegas. That just doesn't make any sense.
I don't think Josh McDaniels knows what he's doing in Vegas.
But switching gears here. I don't want to run the show, but Corey, your Atlanta Falcons literally made Will Levis look like he should have been the number 1 overall pick.
Yeah, that was bad. Will Levis.
Oh my God.
That was bad. That was yeah. I don't what do you gotta say to that, Corey? Get your ass up here. You ain't doing nothing but sitting there.
They were the number 1 pass defense in the NFL, and Will Levis just came in there just looking like Joe Montana. Just firing away.
And a lot of people thought Will Levis was overrated too. This is his first game.
Well, the Atlanta Falcons don't think he is, because oh boy,
they act like this. Yeah, they thought he was PJ Walker. That was bad. I'm trying to find the box score for that. Hold on 1 second, because that was insane. I think he had like 5 touchdowns.
If you want Corey to come on, don't put up that box score.
Oh, he's gonna come on. He's gonna read this box score. We have to sit through our box scores. So can he.
Ooh.
Let me find this. If I can find it. Yeah, that was bad. What other games did you guys catch? Any other games today around the league? I don't know whatever stood out to you.
No, I didn't.
I didn't.
The end of the Eagles game for maybe last 5 minutes.
The Bengals 49ers game. I mean, the Niners have lost 3 in a row and have looked bad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Brock Purdy is not.
That is, yeah. Purdy was. Ooh, yeah,
We
he
exposed
struggled.
them.
He struggled. I think Debo's pretty important to that team. The way he runs the ball out of the backfield, catches short, and kind of takes it. He's a huge part of that offense, and I think him being out shows it.
Yeah, the Falcons got shredded today. They let Derrick Henry look like the old Derrick Henry, 22 carries, 101 yards. Will Levis, 238 yards and 4 touchdowns, only sacked twice.
Damn.
Oh, Dad, they went. Remember you got on Corey about this last year? This guy right here, Corey's favorite quarterback, Taylor Heineke. Heineke.
That's a guy that the Browns should maybe look at. If he, well, maybe not, because he might be the starter in Atlanta now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Heineke. We were getting on Corey about that one. Heineke.
If you guys want to see a box score, look at the Giants and Jets box score.
24 punts.
Darren Waller
Yeah.
led the Giants in receiving yards, and he had 4 receiving yards.
That was the game that had 24 punts, wasn't it?
Yeah. He had.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah, the New York Giants. Look at that receiving. I mean, look at the passing yards.
And punt fest.
Look at
One
that.
reception for 4 yards led the league, led the game.
Yeah, they had 6 receptions for 7 yards as a unit. Tyrod Taylor threw for, I'm pretty sure, 8 yards or 6 yards. 8 yards. Yeah.
7 attempts, 8 yards. Tommy DeVito. He sounds like a New Yorker for sure.
Yeah.
Negative 1 yard.
Tyrod Taylor's in the hospital with a rib injury.
Yeah, I should have sent the link to Patron.
I give him the business.
Yeah.
I usually always text him after the loss. Unfortunately, after 6 of them this early, I just have given up.
Poor Ben.
That's insane.
Poor Ben.
You're leading. I know. Is that the worst in NFL history? That's got to be. I mean, Saquon Barkley had 5 targets. Saquon for 0 yards.
He had 3 receptions.
Yeah, for 0 yards.
Yeah, he caught the ball. Yeah, 3 times and netted 0.
Their running back had 6 receptions and 76 yards. Breece Hall and a touchdown. Their running back. How did the Jets not blow them the hell out?
Well, because they have Zach Wilson.
That's insane though. But you got a running game. You got receive. I mean, Garrett Wilson had a pretty good game. You got, good defense. What the hell? That's crazy. Yeah, they punted the ball 24 times. I think that's the team.
The Giants
stats.
actually almost won that game. They were up 10-7 with like 20 seconds left, and somehow Zach Wilson had 2 deep balls and ended up with 1 second left clocking it and went to overtime. And it's just amazing to me. 4 yards for Darren Waller leading his team in receptions. That is,
yeah. See, too, the Giants dominated the time of possession. But it's like, yeah, I guess they were just taking their good old time out there for nothing. What did Dan say? Nope, Bill Belichick beat the Bills a year ago. Oh yeah, that's right. Never passed the ball. I remember that. That was a windstorm. That was understandable. This was like the drizzling shits of all drizzling shits. This is like historic. Like, that's bad. It would take PJ Walker 2 seasons to throw that many touchdowns. Probably would. He could throw you a lot of picks, though. He can do that well. I think he has more picks in his career than touchdowns by like a lot. His margin's not the best. Yeah. But yeah, Chris, I agree with you. Go out and get Renfro. And Chris, I want to ask you, because you pay attention a lot more around the league. What are some moves maybe you see happening Tuesday around the league? Any blockbuster moves? Maybe you see what happens with Devontae Adams, stuff like that.
Here, every year, names are thrown around, big names and stuff like that, and it rarely happens. I don't see Devontae Adams going anywhere. They paid him a bunch of money.
Yeah.
They're going to keep him. I do think DeAndre Hopkins could go somewhere, actually, now. Honestly, I don't see much action. I did see Kirk Cousins tore his Achilles. He's out for the year.
That was bad. Yeah.
I'm hoping Lions can get like one of those defensive linemen from Washington, like Sweat. I think,
Mm-hmm.
I kind of like him.
Chase Young's available.
Yeah, but just the blue in me declines that.
I know. He wants to come to Cleveland though. Him and Miles are good buddies. They're clutch clients.
But that wouldn't be too bad. But I think about everyone in the league needs that good receiver, second receiver. But I don't know how many of those are going to be on the move. But I do think Hopkins goes. I do think he goes somewhere. Where, I don't know. But
hopefully the Browns. They should target him for sure. I told Mike on the phone the other day. He thought I was crazy. I said, Mike, I would try to get Renfro and Hopkins. I mean, I think our receiving core is that depleted.
It's not very good.
I would try to get both of them. I mean, I'd see why not. I mean, but so you don't see any other blockbuster moves? I mean, any other teams or any other? I mean, Dan mentioned to me too. I think Dan might join. I don't know. I sent you the link, Dan. But talk about Mike Evans possibly maybe being on the move. I don't know. You think he'll be on the move?
No. I think that I would love him to be on the move. I'd actually love to see him in a Detroit uniform. He's the guy that I think Detroit needs on the outside, opposite of St. Brown. But no, I mean, here he wants $16-17 million a year, and I mean, he's had 10 1,000 yard, 10 or 9 or 10 1,000 yard seasons, but
yeah, he's pretty consistent.
Yeah, but here 16 million a year, 10 years in the league as a wide receiver. I just, I don't see it happening. I think that they try to keep Baker, his 2 targets.
He said, with PJ Walker playing quarterback, it wouldn't matter if we had Jerry Rice, quarterback needed. And then he also said, not many NFL quarterbacks played their college ball at Temple. Yeah, I don't think
PJ was undefeated going into today. I mean, we went into San Francisco, man. They were the best team in the league.
I'm going to get you a PJ Walker jersey.
PJ Walker jersey, yeah. That'd be something else.
He loves PJ Walker.
Honestly, I would call Atlanta and try to get Heineke, to be honest. I think that, if Anthony Richardson was still playing, I think Gardner Minshew is the guy that I would definitely have went after. But now that he's gone for the year, they're never going to trade him. I mean, here maybe Ryan Tannehill is available, based on Will Levis looking like Joe Montana today against the Atlanta Falcons. So who knows? But I don't know if I just don't think Jacoby Brissett is the guy either. Really, I mean, I get it. He's taller. He knows the system and stuff like that. But Lamar and Joe Burrow are in your division. In the conference, you have, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, and I mean, Jacoby Brissett ain't it either.
I don't think there's anybody that's available. That's it. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
If you're just trying to find somebody you need Watson to come back. You need Watson to play like the old Watson. If that doesn't happen,
it doesn't matter. Yeah.
Yeah, that's all. It's all for nothing. So, but in the meantime, I would, like I said, if he's going to be out another 4 games, I get somebody in there that can plug in right away, and you can plug Brissett in there right away for 3-4 games, and hope to God that.
He said, "PJ Walker is the Dodge Avenger SE of NFL quarterbacks."
He's not even an S6. He's an SE.
He had to throw in the SE.
SE.
My gosh. Yeah.
He's the SE.
He's
He's
good for a
not-
couple miles.
He's under 20 stacks. He's not even 20 grand.
Yeah.
My goodness.
Yeah. He's the SE. That's phenomenal. But
He's the low son of damn. Put him on Avenger. That's what hey, put him on Avenger. Go blow up
Jeez.
an Avenger. Oh my gosh. Avengers. Avengers,
Mhm.
Calibers, and Liberties.
oh gosh, we had
Patriots.
I remember
Patriots. That actually your mom, that was her favorite car she's ever had, was that Liberty.
that was a good car, that red one.
Those are great cars, man. Those things were like those second to a Wrangler. I mean, those had true 4-wheel drive systems in them. Great vehicles. But God, we used to sell the shit out of them things. That was an easy sell. Was you guys working there? We had that? No, that was 2012, the last year.
Yeah.
Shit, them 4x4 Liberty 25.7 MSRP. People
I think
just
my first year there was like the last year of the Patriot, maybe.
yeah. I used to sell the shit out of those. I love when I was a salesperson. I was automatic on a Patriot, man. Especially when they put those $500 mini spins on them. Oh, you're here for a Ram? Let me show you this Patriot.
Yeah, you're the only guy too I knew at the other store where a guy came in for a big truck, huge truck. He ended up leaving in a Spark.
Oh yeah, that was Sparky. It's Corey's
Sparky.
cat. We got him twice.
He wanted the
Yeah.
biggest car in the lot and left in the smallest car in the lot. He lives in Northeast Ohio, and he was
That's
very
the
happy
principle.
too.
But he left in a card.
Oh yeah, Caribbean
He
Blue
left in a
Spark.
car. That's all that matters.
Caribbean Blue.
Yeah,
And then
not just a
traded
Spark.
it in. Traded it in 21. We put him on tracks and wrote like a $21,000 deal on his ass. It was great.
What gets less respect, a track or a Spark?
Um,
That's
I'm
like
gonna say
comparing
probably a
PJ
Trax.
Walker and Jacoby Brissett.
There
because
you go,
anybody's
right
willing
there.
to drive the Spark,
He
I
said
gotta
PJ
respect him.
Walker. He said PJ Walker drives a Spark. That's a good. Yeah, he drives a Spark for sure. He's sparking it up. Or he's
Good orange.
That's why he's always smiling.
Got him a nice little deal on that Spark.
Right. No, it's got low payment.
I mean, he should be smiling. I mean, wouldn't you be smiling if you didn't belong in the NFL, but yet you're going out there and
No, if I'm
And he's
him,
competing though.
I
yeah,
just want to
Yeah.
continue to get paid a lot of money to be the practice squad. No pressure. You just go out there and you practice. I mean,
That's why I
you're
like
supposed
him.
to
I
be
like his
third
attitude.
string. I do too.
I like his attitude. I mean, he
You
stepped
guys-
in there, and you know,
if you
obviously
guys
not
want Teddy Bridgewater, you guys can get him from the Lions, I'm sure.
No, I'm good.
Where's
What
Chase
about-
Daniels when you need him?
Yeah, yeah. What do you
Chad
think? You
Henne.
think they'll ever put? Well, I mean, Goff's playing well. Do you think they'll ever put Hendon Hooker in there at one point?
Well, I mean, he's still recovering from his
Injury.
yeah.
All right.
But I mean, I think they're going to extend Goff. I think they're going to.
Yeah.
I think at this point they're going to have to. I mean, they better win their division. I mean, and
They will.
I just he's playing well. I don't see them making a quarterback change for sure. I mean,
No.
and I think we can get him cheap.
Yeah, I think so too. I think they got him for cheap in the trade too. I mean, I thought that was a pretty good pickup. Deshaun Watson's change from last week is worth more than PJ Walker will ever earn in his NFL career. Yeah, maybe
Oh,
that watch
boy.
he had on today too.
What's a practice
Yeah.
squad? What do they make? 300 grand a year?
No, absolutely not.
I don't know.
100
Let me
some
look that
100
up.
grand?
I wouldn't be surprised if they made $100 grand.
We got a guy out there
I don't
making
know.
100
Hold on.
stacks.
So that's a question for
What
Google
does an
there.
NFL practice?
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm googling it right now.
I bet you PJ Walker's career earnings might have eclipsed $1 million.
They get $165,000 for 18 weeks. The league minimum, here, I'll put it on the screen here. Where is it? Okay, here we go. So it says NFL practice squad players make different amounts of money depending on their experience and the team's discretion. The league minimum salary is $9,200 per week and $165,000, $600 for 18 weeks. Veterans with 2 or more accrued seasons can make up to $19,900 per week for $358,200 for 18 weeks. An accrued season is when a player has a full-time pay status for at least 6 regular season games. So you can make from anywhere to $165,000 to $358,000. Just being a practice squad guy.
He probably loves that. Not
You
a
could
care in the
definitely
world.
afford a
He go play
spark.
football.
So what's the league minimum for active roster?
I keep thinking that's like 300 something grand.
Let me look that up. League minimum. 660,000.
Wow, it's gone up to that.
Yeah, it changed in 2021, so it's probably gonna so it's probably gonna go up even more in a couple of years. Yeah, 660,000. Yeah, but yeah, I think before we get out of here though, Chris, I gotta ask you. I gotta ask you just because you're a Michigan fan. What's your reaction to all the news? More news came out this week. You know, since we talked last week about all this stuff. So I'm just curious what you think about it, where it stands currently.
I prefer to not speak about it anymore. I've spoke too much about it this week in the last 2 weeks that I just prefer to to not talk about it. I did see something that Jim Harbaugh and the NCAA president went to high school together, and he I think Jim Harbaugh bullied him or something too much or something, but it's a joke. Never mind. I don't want to get into it because I know.
Did they really go to high school together?
I actually don't know.
Oh, I thought that was real. Like, damn, I didn't hear that. I gotta look that up.
I mean, you can try to look that up, but at this point, it's just a joke. Harbaugh's going to be gone at the end of this year. I think this year, hopefully, they win the national title and move on. But yeah, Harbaugh's gone. The NCAA.
Yeah, I think a lot of people think he's gone too, Rob. Just in general, I think. They have to get it done this year, and this is the year it's wide open for them to go get it too. I mean, I don't think Georgia, they're beatable. Ohio State, Ohio State's a great team. Just McCord is an issue. He's really what holds us back as McCord, really. So yeah, I mean, it's wide open for them to go get it. I think it's never been a more clear year for them to go win the whole thing.
I agree. I think this is the year, and then we'll see what happens next. But
I don't think they're going to be given the opportunity.
I don't know.
I don't think they're going to be given the opportunity. I think the shit's coming down before. They're not going to let this go to the end of the season. There's no way in hell. There's no way in hell the NCAA can let Michigan. The NCAA has controlled this, and they can't let this pan out and let Michigan go into the playoff and possibly win the damn national championship.
I don't know.
It's kind of scandal.
What, they've had some of this information since 2018, and they've waited until now. And here's where
because everyone does it. Everyone does
everybody signs deals. I think this though is probably the most operational I've ever seen. Which I think that's where I could see, the legality of where you kind of, they messed up there. It was a little too, the operation was too blatant, and they literally hired this guy to run this whole thing like this. So I get that, but the timing of it is where I kind of sympathize with Harbaugh in particular, because it's like, and you notice this across college sports in general, like when Pat Fitzgerald, his contract status was coming up at the Northwestern, all of a sudden some stuff comes out of nowhere. He gets fired. the stuff with Jim Harbaugh recently. He comes out in the media and makes those comments about how he wants to get paid, and him and the university were kind of going back and forth a little bit, and all of a sudden now this comes out. It's like they had this information for a long time. Like Ohio State, they found that sheet with Corey Dennis, I think it was on the sideline in 2018 game. That was 5 years ago. So it's the timing of it for me is like they just found the perfect timing to put this out there.
Yeah, I don't think that it's going to affect this year, but maybe that's wishful thinking.
That's not wishful thinking. I don't really care either way. I mean, at the end of the day, it's just football. It's just entertainment. But
Yeah,
they're not going to allow that. I mean, it would be the biggest firestorm for the NCAA. You just can't let all this shit get out. Now, think about what you just said. They've known since 18. Okay, so the people that have known since 18, if they've known since 18, these same people have let this out. So what are they doing with it? They're not allowing Michigan to go deep and win a national title. They're not.
And not only that, too, who runs the college football playoff because they're linked to the
SEC
network, who bit us in the ass a couple of years in the playoff thing. We got screwed a couple times, but yeah, it's like I don't know. That's what I wonder too. It's like they have to win. They have to give them no choice. They got to beat the hell out of Penn State, and they have to beat us, and they have to win the Big Ten because you can't leave them out. Then obviously they're the best team in the country.
I'm telling you, I don't think they're intact for that. I don't think the coaches are there. I don't see that.
I don't know.
I just don't see that happening. I mean, I just don't. I mean, you're talking about, you can say guys steal Steins, but not many teams are breaking into people's cloud servers and committing freaking federal offenses. You know what I mean? If that's true, and it probably is true, because they wouldn't let that out if it wasn't. You know what I mean? Not many teams are doing that. So, I mean, this is. I mean,
very unique.
It's a pretty big deal.
Yeah,
they just can't let the team go with no consequences. It's not gonna happen. They're going to crush Michigan.
It wouldn't be fair to the players if they did that either. I mean,
no,
punish who you want to punish, but those are kids going to school at the end of the day.
I agree. I'm not saying it's fair.
I don't think you can punish the team this year.
I'm just telling you what.
I think it's. No, I get what you're saying. I know you're saying they might do it, but I don't think it's fair. I think if you're going to punish them, wait till after the season, like you do with everybody else.
Yeah.
Well, it goes back to the timing. Then why didn't they do it?
We got screwed in 2012. We should have took and a lot of it was our fault. Gene Smith should have took the bowl ban the year before, because in 2012 we could have won the whole thing. But Urban's first year, we went 12-0. We got banned. But if you're going to treat it like everybody else, wait till after the year. Because and not only that too, I wouldn't want to be the team. Like, let's say if they did that and Ohio State won the whole thing, there's kind of like an asterisk next to it. You don't want that. You know what I mean? You want to play fair and square. Let's see who the best team is.
Yeah, like
Deion
Ohio
Sanders
State said,
I want
at the end of the day, you still gotta line up.
Right. I want to play Michigan. I don't want to go win and we didn't play the team that could have been better. You know what I mean?
That's a stupid comment by Deion Sanders, though. Because I would say Deion Sanders, okay, why don't both teams' huddles get together before each play and talk about what each of them are going to do, and just whoever out executes each other is going to win.
Yeah, but Deion Sanders saying that is just another representation of just the basic. Here, everyone does it.
I know
everyone
that
does it, and I think he knows that, and I think every coach knows that. I honestly, at the end of the day, maybe not to the extent that Michigan has gone for it, but it is happening all over the NCAA, and it's coming out. Why? Because Michigan's contract. Yeah, because Harbaugh, everyone hates Harbaugh.
Let me ask you this, Chris. Do you think Michigan, the university, could be actually in on this?
Absolutely.
I don't think that's. I mean, if you separate the program and gym from the school,
Are you talking about in on this as in like to hurt
Jim, because
His
they've already been
face
feuding on
or
that.
in on
Well-
it as
well,
the
because-
Spygate type thing.
Here's what I mean by it. Like Pat Fitzgerald, we know Northwestern don't like football. They don't want to pay a coach that kind of money, right? And the Pat Fitzgerald thing was all BS. But his contract was coming up, and he's done a good job there. Got out of the Big Ten title game, and all of a sudden, right when the contract's coming up, this stuff comes out. I think the same thing happened to Mel Tucker, honestly, at Penn State or at Michigan State. He hasn't done a good enough job. They paid him that giant contract. They want to get out of it. They don't want to pay him that money anymore because he hasn't lived up to it, right?
John
something
Gruden.
something comes out. Yeah. And so do you think maybe because Harbaugh made those comments about the university about a week or two before that happened where he said something along like you remember when he said something like he wants to get what he's earned, and it's been like a long battle too. They're negotiating this deal with the university. I wonder, do you think maybe the university could be on this too? It's a conspiracy, but to maybe get out and not paying him because he's always threatened to go to the NFL. And he almost did leave 2 years ago. So they're kind of like hesitant to pay him because he wants big money. And I think he's earned it. But it's like, did they really want to pay that guy that money knowing he could leave?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think so.
I'm just saying, as a fan, like me, I'm questioning everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I just here's my thoughts on it. I think the university will probably get fined for this, spy thing. I don't think they're gonna necessarily do anything to these players in this group because it is what it is. But I think the university is going to pay a fine. I think Harbaugh is probably going to get fined. I think, and then Harbaugh walks away. But I don't see an off-season ban coming out of this, because I just think that at the end of the day, again, they maybe went a little too far, but everyone does it, and it wouldn't surprise me if it's one of those things where they change the rule and next year for it. You know what I mean? I mean, my goodness, it's silly. I just think it's silly. And again, I've had countless conversations about it over the last couple of weeks, and
I get it. I had to ask you.
I'm burnt out on it.
No, I got you. But
it wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me if other universities, come out of this, and it comes out that other universities have done the same thing, and then these same fans that have been calling for Michigan to get a postseason ban and this, that, and the other. Now their
team does the same thing.
Yeah, now their team does the same thing, and then now the fan base says, "Well, I mean, it really isn't even that big of a deal." It's like, wait, 2 weeks ago you were crying the blues, and now your team does it. And it's never mind, not a big deal. To be honest with you, when it first came in, I was just like, wait, this is a rule? You can't do this? That's stupid. Like, I mean, again, some of the things they did is kind of.
Dan said this sounds like someone justifying a trade tax credit on leased vehicles. Yeah, he's on one tonight in those comments. I can send him the link. I don't know, he might not be able to come up tonight, but yeah, I don't know. It's crazy too. Like Lincoln Riley openly committed a violation with having Cliff Kingsbury involved. He wasn't actually on the staff, but he's on the sideline coaching Caleb Williams in the middle of the game. That's illegal as all hell.
Maybe that's why Caleb Williams is doing so bad.
Right. That's why he's doing so bad. Yeah.
My God.
That guy stinks.
He does stink.
He's bad. Well, who would draft Caleb Williams? Josh, would you draft a guy to paint? Josh, would you draft a guy to paint his fingernails?
Doesn't Josh paint his fingernails?
No, I don't. But
no,
I mean, here, me and Joe your dad just had to talk about this together. That doesn't bother me. I don't care.
Not at all.
No. Here, if they can perform, then who cares?
He can't perform.
Do you think he's performing up to par, though?
Oh, I don't
Is he
know.
work?
I don't watch college, but
Oh, you don't. All right.
but
No, I get
painted
it.
fingernails wouldn't bother me at all.
See, I
I mean,
don't want any son of a bitch that paints his fingernails. I don't. I'll be like Jerry Jones. You got a certain dress code. You can't have, even like George Steinbrenner, can't have facial hair. I mean, I have all these kind of crazy rules running old school. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Your ass shoes
Mhm.
sure so standing for the national anthem. So
Yeah.
no fingernail painting. Guy's a clown.
Who would you guys take number one right now? Drake May?
Take a Marvin Harrison.
yeah.
Well, I'm saying you need a quarter. Well, yeah, I think Marvin's the best prospect, but if you need a quarterback, probably Drake. I like Michael Penix a lot. I think he's gonna be really good. I don't know.
If if Marvin Harrison isn't on Ohio State, they have 3 losses this year. I mean,
I agree with that.
he should be in the
The Heisman candidate.
Oh my gosh! I mean, that guy is
Unbelievable.
he is, as the young kids call him these days. He is him.
Yeah, he
I
is.
think. Do you think he's might be the most? He has a chance to be that guy on the outside since Moss in terms of just physical specimen. Just I don't know how you stop that guy. He's 6'4", and he moves like a gazelle, and he does everything. And he does it whenever he wants. Like, and Ryan Day's smart. He knows when you need a play, just put him in position to get him the ball. He'll make it happen. Because you got McCoy, and it's I don't know. It's frustrating. That game last night was frustrating because we're so used to like years past with Stroud, with Fields, even with Haskins, even with JT. They should have won that game by a lot last night, like blowing them out. But McCord doing McCord things in the first half, throwing the ball in the traffic. You're like, what are you doing? Fumbling the ball.
Like PJ Walker.
Yeah, PJ Walker was better than McCord.
Same scenario, 3 turnovers.
3 turnovers.
Yeah.
He's the
McCord
weakest.
stinks.
Everywhere in the team is line's gotten better. Henderson's like the best running back in football last night. Defense is great. Receiving core is great. Even with Lameka out, it's just this guy here. You're just like, is he gonna bite us in the ass? And we need him to step up and just be solid. Can you at least just manage the game and not turn the ball over?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
He does it second half. He just looks timid though when he's out there. He looks like he's nervous all the time.
Just manage it. Don't turn the ball over. That's what you said. Because he reminds me a lot of like Craig Krenzel, but Craig Krenzel didn't turn the ball over. He just managed.
Well, and last night was his first pick in a long time, in like 200
since week 1, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, but still, I'm like, come on, you can't throw that ball like that. And now he's hurt, so I don't know. I wish they would have took my advice, went with Devin early on in the year. I think Devin had a much higher upside. It's very similar to Chris to McNamara and McCarthy. He's McNamara, and the guy who's like JJ should be playing, but he's not yet. So I don't know.
Yeah, but McNamara was a veteran, though. I mean, he
had experience.
He had experience. I mean, he had the team. He led the team and stuff like that. McCord. I mean, he never started before this year, so I don't. I mean, yeah and no at the same time. I don't even know if Devin Brown's it either, but I mean, McCord.
I like Devin Brown. I think
he threw a couple balls
that
it's just like there's just no way. Joe, your dad said, PJ Walker wouldn't even have made that throw.
No, it's like
he went to
if he
Temple.
if he can just manage the games, they can beat anybody. But it's when he starts throwing the ball around a lot like that, I just get a little nervous down the stretch. But I don't know.
Yeah, Kyle McCord is a future accountant.
Yeah. A lot of Ohio State fans are calling him Kyle Midcord. He's mid. They said he's midcord.
Yeah.
Midcord.
He's not even that. He's a future new car bookkeeper.
Yeah. Throwing to one of the best college football players right now
of all time.
It's amazing. Yeah. It's just amazing.
That guy. What do you think? Before we get out, that's a great question. We'll wrap this up. Appreciate you guys staying on this long. Where do you think's a perfect landing spot for Marvin Harrison? If you look at the worst teams in the league, I'd say the Bears, possibly, if they want to keep Fields.
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, having him opposite of DJ Moore, I mean,
Yeah,
that would
new
be
coach
good.
in there.
I mean, Houston, you know,
Yeah, well, yeah, Houston would be deadly,
but Houston, you know, obviously traded their first round pick to Arizona. I mean, Kyler Murray. I mean, having, you know, Marvin Harrison and the Cardinals, that's not terrible. But
you get them to the Giants based on their receiving.
I mean, you could be onto something there. They definitely need a receiver, but
yeah.
I don't want them to go to the Giants just because.
I don't think
I want
anybody
Danny
does
Dimes throwing
but
in the
them.
ball.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't need to have something that excites Ben Patron.
Yeah, that would be the most exciting thing they've had in a while.
But yeah, I
let me
mean,
pull up here the bottom teams in the league.
the Panthers, but yeah, obviously the Panthers traded their pick to Chicago. I mean, it's honestly Chicago. I mean,
Yeah, that's what I think. Chicago, maybe Harbaugh goes there. I mean, he's been rumored to go there.
Played there.
Yeah, played there. I mean, you got the Bears, Packers, Patriots, Giants, Panthers, Cardinals. I think the worst spots he can go to is the Patriots because their quarterback room was horrible. I don't want to see him on the Giants. I don't know if Kyler Murray is just so unpredictable. I don't know.
Ooh, the Patriots.
I wouldn't want to go to the Patriots if I were him. Unless Vrabel go. I mean, although I think Belichick's retiring after the year. My opinion. I don't. Maybe Vrabel goes there, but I don't know. What do you guys see here, Dad? What do you think? Where do you think is a good spot for him based on this list? Obviously, if the Rams somehow fell, I think you put him with McVay. I think McVay can do some damage with him.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Well, he's got his own brand, so he's going to want to be in a major market. So, LA would make sense. Chicago would make sense. Yeah.
What do you think? Well, I know you're like a Bears fan. That's your second favorite team, so you probably want to see him with the Bears.
Yeah, I think it'd be cool. The Bears have never. I mean, my God, they've never had a great receiver. You know what I mean? Like an all-pro receiver. I mean,
who was the best guy when they were winning Super Bowls?
Well, they had
receiver by committee.
They had Brandon Marshall when they had Jay Cutler. But
I mean, like they've never had. This is like one of the greatest teams in football history, and they've never had, like, as long as I've been alive, an elite
they've always
Hall
been
of Fame receiver.
The run game, defense, you know, northern, northeast,
right,
football,
So I don't know. So it'll be a major market.
Sure, I'd say Chicago. I think Chicago. I think you try to work it out of field to get a better coach. Their Dan said slightly above the screen of the Browns. No, they're up there. I tried. I go up a little bit. It takes a while to find all the way up there at the top.
Yeah.
No, the Browns will not be contention for Marvin Harrison. I think the Browns will still make the playoffs because I think the bottom of the
keep
AFC.
scrolling up if you would. Oh, there
Lions. There they are.
Man, it sure is nice to see them that high.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm fine with the 4-3 still. With PJ Walker, I thought it'd be a lot worse by now. I thought we'd be 3-4 at this point. I'll take it. Eagles, Ravens at the top. Jaguars up there. Chiefs lost today to the Broncos. Dolphins. What a shame is that? The Dolphins and the Chiefs games in Germany next week at 9:30 in the morning.
It's so weird to me.
What the hell is that? Gosh, it should be a great primetime game, but no, it's got to go to Germany.
That's the NFL doing.
Morning. Yeah.
Who knows?
I'm surprised the NFL didn't just flex it.
Yeah, take Jeremy's advice. Just flex it.
Just flex it.
Tell another team they're telling last minute. Hey, tell the Browns. Hey, I know you just went to Seattle this week, but you're going. Guess what? You're going to Germany next week, asshole.
Just flex it.
Right, we're flexing it.
Just flex it.
Cowboys blew the doors off of who they play today?
The Rams.
Yeah, beat the hell out of them. The
Mhm.
Lions looking nice. Top of the division. Seahawks. I think the Seahawks actually take control of that division though. Which I actually predicted the Seahawks to win the division early in the year.
Well, they're one right now.
I think they're going to take good care of it. I don't Brock Purdy. No thanks. Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Bengals,
I think
I watch out for the Bengals.
Yeah, that's a keep an eye on them. They're still negative 13 in net points. Huh. I think Pittsburgh's coming back down to earth.
Yeah, their offense stinks.
Yeah, they're bad. But all right, well, last comment here before we get out of here. It should be 3-4. Lefts last week prevented that, not PJ. I agree, but damn, it's been done to us too. So I'll take it.
Right.
And I mean, here, if you want to do that, I mean, if it wasn't for Jake Moody, you guys could be 2-5. I mean, things happen.
Things happen. And Nick Chubb doesn't get hurt, we might still win that game week 2. Probably win that game. Nick Chubb was cooking in that game too.
He was cooking.
Yeah, he was.
He was
like he was on pace to have his best game ever.
But you guys somehow still lost to the Steelers without them scoring an offensive touchdown.
Yeah,
fumbling the ball. Just shaken up. I think the whole team was just mentally not right after that day.
Well, even before that, they threw a pick 6.
Yeah, they went too much wide, or what's that? 5 wide, throwing stick routes to Harrison Bryant. It's just, that was a bad game. But
I mean, honestly, Stefanski just has never done anything consistently other than being inconsistent.
Yeah, yeah, that's what he's good at, being inconsistent.
Never let him get your next move.
Yeah,
and and his beard's always clean.
Yeah,
that's about it.
He does. Yeah, he does.
He keeps that going.
Yeah.
But all right, well, you guys got anything else to way out here before we get going?
No. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks for coming on, dude. I appreciate it. We'll see. We're gonna do more with Josh down the road. We're gonna do some UFC, post UFC event stuff, because Josh really knows a lot about more fighting sports, especially with mixed martial arts. Try to get his brother on, Damon, as well.
Mm-hmm.
I guess before we got here, Josh, anything stand out to you? What did you think of that Ngannou fight yesterday? You think Ngannou got robbed?
I didn't watch it. I heard that. I got home from work yesterday and I passed out. I was supposed to go to a fundraiser and didn't go. I got to watch that still, but I heard he got robbed. Yeah. So we'll see. I'll probably watch that tonight after I get off here.
All right. Cool. Yeah, so pay attention to that. Chris, thanks for coming on. And let's go Lions tomorrow, I guess. Go Lions. Anytime Josh McDaniels loses, I'm good. So,
oh, damn. Well, pick.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate it. We'll talk to you guys.
All right, man. Have a good week.
All right, have a good week.
All right, Josh, I'll see you tomorrow, man.
Yes,
see you.
Good night, guys.
No.
All right, bye.
Bye.
All right. Well, Dad, you got any closing words on the way out of here?
No, everybody have a great week. See you next week.
Why don't you tell them I need to go like, subscribe, and share?
Like, subscribe, share. The real. Pass it on. Share it to everyone. It's great content. You guys, like I said last week, I get to see all the heart and soul he puts into it, and how passionate it is, how much passion in it, and how passionate he is about it. So, if you love it, share it. It's great content, and you'd be surprised how many people you might know that actually need it. So, share it. All right.
Yeah, go check out my latest episode as well, where I give the secret ingredient to anxiety recovery. So go check that out. If you're somebody looking for that, in need of it, or someone someone in need of it, send it to them. So that's all we got for you guys. We'll see you guys in the next one. We're out of here. Gone.